As we've already established in previous episodes, the centerpiece of any paranormal investigation can be the seance. When people come together around a table and are able to harness their psychic energy, it does appear possible that contact with unknown entities can take place, as members of our team explain.
Some seances, they'll put their hands on the table and they'll join. Some will hold hands. You know what I mean? It's a kind of to get this energy going. Yeah, and then obviously the medium, they would say a few words, give you all protection of light and love. And then they basically go through a bit of a guided kind of meditation just to get you in that state of mind. You know, so you're more, how can I put it? You're more intuitive, you know. So you got a bit of a better understanding, and then, you know, the medium just goes from there then. You know, if you're there, you want your mother to come through, or, you know, a parent or whatever, you know, you'd love that to happen, wouldn't you? You know, being involved with this seance type of thing. You know, that's why people do go to these seances. They want to contact the loved ones. You know, and if the medium is a good medium, and they know what they're doing, they're going to come through with something.
Since we are, in my opinion, we are all spiritual beings inhabiting physical bodies. We all have an energy, spiritual energy around us. People call it our auras. With that energy, it can be focused. Our minds are not just what's encased in the physical brain. It's a part of our spiritual essence. There's great energy there and an ability to connect with other realities, other levels and vibrations of existence, including what we would term, quote unquote, the spiritual world. So when you have a group of people together that are focusing their intent on communicating with the spirit world, they're putting that intention out there, they're focusing their energy, and that energy is breaking through the third dimensional barrier, separating our reality from those realities. It opens a portal or a gateway, and things can come through. The only problem I have with it is the fact that in most cases, people who are doing seances are not trained to protect themselves properly, and they're opening the door too wide, and just anything can come through. And I do believe that there are some nasty things out there.
The dead try to communicate any way that they possibly can. We ask for specific things, but if it's not in their repertoire to communicate that way, you're not going to get it. I believe the best way to talk to spirit is keep it simple. Language has changed. The way we express ourselves has changed. So the language needs to be kept simple.
Show yourself in front of me, please. Shit. No, they've come out of the room. Calm down. It was very. Shit, somebody's following me. Who's there? I've got to say, I'm still on my own at the moment. Oh, fucking hell.
Some are more powerful than others. We've been there, seen it, got the t-shirt in regards to messages from the other side when it's on an investigation. I've never seen so many things happen. I didn't know they could do so many things. Lights, orbs, flashes, senses, feelings, it's all there. They can do everything. It is weird when you get a lovely spirit and you ask to say, look, please can you show yourself? And then you get a bang in that corner. Please can you give us something else? And then you get a flash. You know, they do respond with you, but I think they respond with respect. Give them respect and you'll get respect back.
Well, there's believers and skeptics. I'm a believer.
You want to break the skeptics wrong?
I do.
Right, okay. You're talking about orbs, light anomalies, if you like.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the significance is. If you would see these little white balls of light, what's the significance? What do they mean?
My belief is that the little spirits floating about, you know, they've got a mind of their own, they can go wherever they want.
Right.
People say they're dust. I don't believe they're dust. Dust can't just change direction and go up and down. And
No, the dust tends to drop down and float around and then just dissipate onto the floor, but in greater number.
Right. You know, these guys, they control themselves.
Right.
You know, the manoeuvres that they do. You know, they are definitely some form of entity.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, and I appreciate you know, your belief on it and whatever.
Yeah.
But what, you know, why, if you like, why would a spirit kind of show himself in that form as a tiny ball of light? Why not, like we were talking earlier, manifest themselves? Surely, if they're capable of small lights,
Capture.
yeah.
And hopefully, down the road, and maybe I will capture it. Hopefully I will.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure from your point of view, you're happy with it, but I would imagine from a skeptic's point of view, he's going to immediately say, well, hang on a second, it could be dust, it could be reflective dust, or it could be the digital photography, glitches within that. So I would imagine that we, as the team that's here tonight, we need to get something more than that. So what I would like to do, if we can, because you know, we had the seance where we had quite a response with the glass, it would appear. I think we need to be looking at something like that tonight. We'll try some experimentation and see whether or not we can get something happening tonight, which is fine with the orbs, if you like.
Yeah.
See if we can get something a bit more, maybe.
I've been on investigations where I don't think the right respect has been shown to the spirit, and we've had some things happen which I don't think should happen. I think you should treat a person in the spirit world with the same respect as someone in the living.
We identified that there was this male spirit who was very dominant, and he wouldn't let anybody else through. But we know that there were children here that actually wanted to come through, but we had a hard job. But he's definitely about, and he's not too happy.
Come on, then, if you're here, Mr. Bully, by all accounts, doesn't like to have kids around here. Kids are free to do whatever they want in here. If that's what your problem is, I am telling you now, the kids are free to do whatever they want in here. What have you got to say about that, then?
And then you'll get that respect back, and that's the way I believe it should be done, and they can communicate in so many ways.
I'm not. This is me, and I'm trying to kind of make sense of it myself. Yeah. I'm thinking to myself that if I was a person that had passed over, and that I was in a situation where I was going to communicate, I feel perhaps maybe a little bit more direct conversation would be appropriate. Now, obviously, you're a religious kind of person. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this wrong, but I would have thought perhaps the best approach on this would be to speak to the people, if you like, that's on the other side, in the same way as me and you are talking now. Perhaps would that not be a better approach?
Maybe.
But I'd prefer the old-fashioned way, which is something that we've had ever since we've evolved. We've got psychic abilities. We never used to speak. We used to just communicate with telepathy and talking to each other like that. And I believe that is the best way to communicate with spirit. Forget your devices and your cameras and this. Yeah, that gives you an indication that they're there, but it's still not going to communicate with you. They might send something through a recording device, but they're not going to answer questions like they would when you're communicating and tuning into that spirit. I much prefer the old ways where it's an old-fashioned style. Technology, yeah, it has its place, but I don't believe it's the right way.
So what would be sufficient evidence enough for you to be satisfied that there is an afterlife?
To catch manifestations in the full rather than just having little light anomalies. Right. I'd love something like a human silhouette of something
you
manifesting.
Could make it out and say that is. But I've got to come back to the first thing you said there, that, you know, we say, and I would imagine it would be what any, if you'll pardon the phrase, ghost hunter would be to see an image of something. But surely, how would your reaction be? Are you going to be calm, collected, or are you going to be like I know I would be? I wouldn't be here. You know, I'd probably do one, if you know what I mean.
No, I understand.
What would your kind of position be on that?
I fear. Yeah.
Right.
So that gives me a bit of comfort, knowing that I fear, and I know if something does happen, I know my fear won't get the better of me because I fear fear.
Well, I suppose it is a hypothetical situation, really, isn't it? We don't know what your reaction would be in that particular scenario.
When Roy did question me about fear, I do fear. Although fear, we're not born with fear. It's something that, going through our lives, we come into some situations where we have this feeling come over us, where it's almost a scary type feeling. You could put it down to fear as such. So I kind of embrace that fear, in a sense. So I'm almost preparing myself to feel the fear. I'm already fearful anyway when I'm going in doing these kind of, investigations with the team and that.
What have you experienced in your time as a paranormal investigator, perhaps even in your time as a priest? What have you actually experienced that has that has drawn you to where you are now in your way of thinking?
I've experienced a lot of footage through this camcorder that I have in my hand
here.
Give
an example.
Light anomalies.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I've been on investigations. You see a little flash in a corner. Someone's going, well, someone just flashed a light. They're not going to take that seriously. That bang over there, someone's just turned the heating on. Someone's just banged into something in the dark. There's so many things. Batteries died on their own accord. You just cannot prove a lot of it. Yeah, you get good images and good photographs. And again, even people like a UFO phenomena try and discredit it. The first thing people do when something's not the normal, discredit it. And so there's never really any proof. And I don't think I've ever had any real proof to say, yep, there you go, that's a ghost. It's very difficult. It is difficult. And they communicate in so many different ways. If you're communicating psychically, that's not proof to nobody.
No, you don't respect shit like that. I mean, if that's what he's done.
You need to be careful of him.
His temperature is dropping.
You, wherever you are, we're not interested. Fucking bring it on, alright?
K2's going. K2's going.
Get out.
It's going ice cold.
Proper up to pieces and that, devour them.
Yes.
How do you know that?
I've just been told.
Something moved.
Someone's just fucking
Whoa.
It's okay.
Please stop. I need to go out.
You know what?
Just
What if I go upstairs?
That's okay as it is.
There you go.
I want to move. It's freaking me out, that fella. No, I'm alright, I'm just cold. I don't want to stay here. It's stuck there like that. Didn't we, Jane?
There is, of course, a dark side to communicating with the dead. A professionally led seance will usually pass without incident, but when amateurs and thrill seekers gather, there's often someone that decides to bring along a spirit board, otherwise known as the dreaded Ouija board. In the wrong hands, and used with ill intent, a Ouija board can bring a whole lot of trouble to the party.
Things that'll come through and play with you, mess with you, eventually could be very harmful. And you have to be very careful on what your intent is, on who you're trying to contact, and know when you're being played with, and closing that door. Sometimes people during seances, they don't properly close the door. So it's like if you open the door to your home and there's a stranger there and you don't like them, it's like you turning around and walking away rather than closing the door, and that stranger just walks right on in. Then you can't get rid of them. And that's what happens a lot with these seances. So while I do believe that they can be used to contact other intelligences, and not just the spirit world, but even higher types of intelligences, even ET intelligences. But again, you have to know what you're doing, know how to protect yourself, and know how to close that portal to keep anything from coming through.
The Ouija Board, brought to you by the Parker Brothers, available in both white and coloured wallwork.
Hate Ouija boards. Absolutely hate Ouija boards. I have been to more people's homes that have messed about with a Ouija board than I care to remember. It's such a big thing. Everybody, I mean, it's sold as a board game. It's sold as a child's board game. Communicate with the dead. Yeah, what could possibly go wrong with that? I think they were selling them in Toys R Us. But Ouija boards, to me, are an uncontrollable tool. I don't care, who you are or what you think you know. You mess with a Ouija board, you're letting anything in. Because you've got to remember, whatever it is that you are dealing with, be it spirit or something evil, they will lie to you to gain your trust. They'll tell you what you want to hear on that board. Oh, it's your great Aunt Ethel. You used to come and have picnics with me. And so there you're getting a bond, and straight away they've got an in. So for me, when you're doing anything seance related, Ouija boards are a no. You need to be in control of what's going on. So if you're doing something like glass divination, so you've got your finger on a glass, you're asking yes/no questions. You want to keep control of it. You don't give it a typewriter to tell you, I'm the devil, I'm going to eat your soul. If it's the devil or not, it doesn't matter. If you've got people there that are of a weak disposition, and you tell them something like that, that plays with your head. Psychologically, that's going to mess you up. And I know, because I've seen people, they mess about with it.
Guys. Ow!
And you shouldn't do this sort of stuff in your home anyway. It's the worst place to do it, because you've got to live there. Go to a haunted castle, go to a manor house, go to a cemetery, and leave whatever you're playing with there. Don't live with it, because it ain't going to pay the bills, it ain't going to wash the pots, and chances are it's going to make your life hell.
Well, I had a Ouija board, and I did spirit rescue with mine. Well, there wasn't just me, there was a little small group of us. If you know what you're doing, I cannot believe that they were sold as kids' toys originally. But if you know what you're doing, and you protect yourself, a little protection prayer or whatever you want to say, I think they're perfectly all right. I wouldn't have one now, because I've kind of moved on from that sort of thing. But no, I think if you know what you're doing, they're all right. It's when people mess about with them and they've no idea. They get drunk and think it's a really good idea to start communicating.
Tough one. I know we've done a few Ouija board sessions in the early days. When we was a bit naive, we definitely didn't have proper mediums. Because I know for a fact, I took some negative energy on with me one time. It destroyed my life for a year. We didn't have the protection. I suppose if you've got a proper 100% medium who's going to do a Ouija board session, they're going to give you full protection, because that's what they do.
In the wrong hands, an absolute portal for disaster. I believe in the right hands and the right intentions, I believe you get the outcome that you were looking for, which is just contact a loved one or a spirit from the other side to give you a message. And that's what they're there for. The people want to play with them, and the untrained, that is the disaster. I have done a Ouija board. I have been on in the company of the right people. I believed in the right people with the right intentions that wanted messages from the other side, and it worked a treat. It was opened, it was closed, and it was closed with prayer. It were open with prayer, and it were nothing but love and light. But I believe untrained people with a Ouija board, it's just a recipe for disaster.
Well, thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to join in the debate, feel free to leave a comment below. Until next time, I'm Roy Bassnett, and this has been our Unexplained World.